Welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking on Miele cooker hood, which is a ceiling cooker hood. The model we're looking at is DA2806, but this video should work with most ceiling cooker hoods because the principle is the same. So yes, what we're gonna have to do is obviously take the machine down, and we will be replacing both electronics, starting with the power control unit and follow with the control electronic. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Before carrying out any maintenance or repairs, make sure your appliance is isolated from the power supply, unplug from the wall, or switch off from the spare. First of all, we're gonna have to gain the access to our locking mechanism, which is holding our cooker hood in the ceiling. So we're gonna start with removing both mesh filters, and then we need to gain the access to both panels on the left and right hand side, which they are secured with T20 screws. In every corner there is a marking where the locking mechanism is. As you can see, we protect the induction hob underneath, as you never know, you might have a screwdriver falling down, screw falling down, panel falling down, so the induction hob is secure. Now we removing all screws on left and the right hand side, and we remove both panels so we can gain the access to our locking mechanism. After panels been removed, now you can see we get access to our locking mechanism. It's like a spinning wheel, which depending which direction you will be spinning will be unlocking or locking. So obviously we will be unlocking. So please be very careful. The machine is quite heavy, and be aware this is going to be two-man lift. I would never attempt this removing on my own, so you're gonna need ask someone to help you with it, as you undo your locking mechanism, the machine might go down crashing. Start unlocking all four mechanisms and spinning in the direction where it says unlocking. Machine will start lowering down. Lower the machine down about 10 millimeters. So then what you want to do is lift the machine every corner and unlock again, so the locking mechanism, it will close and the machine will be free, so we can drop it down. As you can see, this is our locking mechanism. So if the weight of the machine is resting on the ceiling, that will not close. That's why you have to lift the machine up and then keep unlocking, so eventually every arm will close and the machine will be free. I know it's not an easy task, that's why you're gonna need a second person to help you hold the machine. Now, finally, we got our machine down on the table, so we need to gain the access to our power control unit, which will be replaced. So most of the screws are T20, but some of the screws in the base are actually nuts. They are 7 millimeters nuts, and like I said, most of the screws on the machines gonna be T20. So undo all the screws, take the front panel off, so we can gain proper access to the power control unit, which is that. The machine's been pre-diagnosed previously, so we know on this model we need new power control unit, and the control electronic has been damaged. Both electronics are pretty reliable on this model, but in this case, someone simply put too much cleaning product over the control electronic, tried to clean the machine as it was heavily soiled, and cleaning product went into the control electronic, shorted out, and damaged both electronics. Otherwise, those electronics are pretty reliable. After removing front panel, finally we can gain the access to our power electronic, as in that plastic casing there is a 3 screws on the top holding the whole casing, so we need to undo those screws and just slide the electronic out so we can gain proper access. Some models, they do have a earth cable, just unplug it, and then there should be a 1 screw which is holding the casing, preventing from opening. It also should be P20, so undo the screw and take the cover off. It's best to remove the whole cover to gain good access to all the electrical connections. At this point, it's probably the best to take few pictures of the electronic and all electrical connections. Just make sure none of the plugs they get swapped around. And starting with the mains cable, you're gonna need the small terminal flat blade just to undo all the 3 connections, and then just simply unclip the electronic from the cover, just raise it up and unplug all remaining plugs. Now it's time to put everything back in reverse order. Basically, reconnect all the electrical connections, relocate our electronic inside the plastic cover, close the cover, and attach into the chassis. So then we can move on to replacing control electronic, which I believe it's more difficult than changing the power board. Power board wasn't too bad, but the control electronic, it could be a little bit tricky, but don't worry, let me show you what to do. Simply starting with removing the whole frame. We do have another T20 screws on both sides. They are slightly different screws, so again, as per all my videos, make sure you do not mix those screws. They not mix and match, they are slightly different screws. So undo those 4 screws, and then we're gonna have to remove a locking mechanism. As you're gonna see in a minute, all 4 locking mechanisms, they're gonna be in the way, so you will not be able to take the frame off, and also there is another screw which is holding the white frame and the gray frame in one piece, and that screw, to access that screw, we're gonna have to flip the machine over. As you can see, I can lift it, but I cannot split the machine yet. So what I did, I just put a little socket between those two frames, so I get a little bit more access to the locking mechanism. When you have the little spinning wheel for locking mechanism, simply just use the small screwdriver and press the mechanism out in every corner. And finally, on the very center of the bottom of the machine, there is another T20 quite long screw, which, like I said, it's holding both frames in one piece. So when you undo that screw, machine will be ready to split in two halves. So simply remove the screw, put the machine back on the table, so you will be able to remove the top part of the machine. Simply just lift it gently, but be careful because you're gonna have to pull all the wiring through the top casing. So one by one, as you don't want to damage any electrical connections. After the panel is removed, finally we have access to our control electronic, which is sandwiched in between the bracket and between the white frame. Through the top, you got the two access holes. So you're gonna need again T20 screwdriver, about the thin one. You cannot have the one which is a socket holder, only because it won't fit through the appliance. As you can see, those screws are only pushing down on the control electronic, so you have to just undo them slightly, and then control electronic will become loose and ready for removal. Control electronic is free now, so simply just pull it outside. You got only one electrical connection, so just unplug it. And now what we're going to have to do, just retrieve the electronic from that plastic and metal panel, as we're changing electronic only. So it's a lot of clips all over the electronics, so you're gonna have to take the metal casing off first, so we can gain the access to the tiny control electronic. When the metal panel is off, now we can unclip the electronic from the plastic panel. Now, because we're replacing electronic, you do not have to be very careful about the old electronic, because it will be scrapped. But if for some reason, for example, you're only replacing plastic buttons on the top of the electronic, so you have to be careful as you don't want to damage the little electronic. In this case, we're replacing the electronic, so simply clip the new electronic back into the plastic casing and close it down with the metal bracket at the back. Make sure all the buttons are working correctly. As the last thing you want to do, just put everything back and find out one of the buttons is not working, or a couple of the buttons is not working. Imagine you have to take it down, dismantle all again and rectify it. Well, it's time to put everything back in reverse order. Our control electronic is ready now, so simply just reconnect electrical connection. Place the electronic where it's supposed to be in the metal cutout for the buttons, and with the T20 screwdriver gently, start turning the screws clockwise until they start pushing on the electronic and lock it in place. Please be aware you do not want to use any impact drills or drills, as you might actually go through the electronic if you obviously do it a little bit too hard. You need to do this with a screwdriver. Make sure the electronic is not too tight, but also it's not too loose, so it will not pop out when customer is using the machine. And that is it, just in reverse order. Put the frame back on, replace all the panels back in place, and machine will be ready to be reinstalled in the ceiling. Again, please remember it's a two-man lift, especially with that type of locking mechanism. It's difficult, obviously, to hold the machine in place with one hand and start tightening up with the second hand. Just yes, please ask someone to assist you on reinstallation of this machine, as it is quite heavy. Make sure your hob, regardless if it's gas or induction, make sure your hob is protected underneath and prevent any damages. So yes, thank you very much. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as this will help me to build this channel and upload many more videos for you. Thank you.